Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. This is part 2 of my top 50 most valuable vintage baseball cards for 2022. Part 1, I took a look at cards number 50 through 26. If you missed that video, I'll have a link to it at the end of this video. Definitely go check it out. But in this video here, I will be showing off cards number 25 to number 1. And at the end, I have 2 bonus cards to show off. Now, as a reminder, the values that I have assigned to these cards were taken from vintage card prices, and I used the average price based on the card and the grade. So let's go take a look at cards number 25 through number 1. All right, let's get right to it. At number 25 is my 1965 Topps Pete Rose in a BVG 6. Little off-center left to right. This was purchased raw or ungraded from my local card shop, and at the time I wasn't as particular about centering. Not sure if I would purchase this card with this eye appeal today, but nonetheless I have it, and it did grade a BVG 6. There is the back of it. Not bad. And based on the VCP average, this card is valued at $225. All right, card number 24 is my 1980 Rickey Henderson rookie in a PSA 8. PSA 8s aren't that hard to find. But again, even at a PSA 8 level, not all PSA 8s are equal. There's a little bit of leeway in terms of the centering, and some of the ones left to right, I took my time picking out the correct PSA 8. I think that this one here has pretty good centering overall. So what probably drops the grade is probably some corner where maybe a little bit of surface, something like that. But there is the back. The back is pretty nice as well. Not perfect, but really nice example there of the Rickey Henderson rookie. And in a PSA 8, this is currently valued at $237. All right, number 23, we have what I consider this player's better card than his rookie card, and it's the 1964 Topps Pete Rose. Just love this card, love this image of Pete Rose here. And again, in a PSA 4, I think I did fairly well. The key for me again was the centering. Now, if you notice, if you take a close look here, that right border has some discoloration. And my guess is this was graded without asking for no qualifiers. So this may have been a 5 or 6 with a stain. Without the qualifier, dropped it down to a 4. But that is fine with me. Just love the centering on this. The staining there on the border does not take away from the overall eye appeal of the card. Great example there of that 64 Topps Pete Rose, and the back is fairly centered as well. So in this 4, even though it is a 4, it is currently valued at $246. All right, number 22. This one, again, I purchased ungraded from my local card shop, and then sent it into Beckett for grading. And I knew the card had a slight surface crease in it, but because of the the dark background, you really have to look to find it. So I went ahead and bought it anyway, mainly for the centering, of course, the player and the year and so on. It is the 1957 Topps Willie Mays. And I don't even know if it'll show up on, sorry about the glare there. I'm not even sure if you can see it in the plastic here. But for some reason, it's sort of like down near his elbow. You really have to look at it at the right angle. So if it's that hard for me to find, then it doesn't bother me at all. Because of that crease, it did get a 4, but I'm happy with that. Really nice image there overall. You don't get hardly any snowing with that 57, which is somewhat common, I think, for 57s to have some snowing surface scratches or whatever on the front, but nice clean front there. And look at that back. That's a nice back there. Again, it's off center top to bottom, but sharp looking card there for the 57 Topps Willie Mays. I believe this is my oldest Willie Mays. And in a BVG4, the current average price is $248. All right, number 21 is a card that I picked up at this year's National, one that had been on my list for quite some time. And just like the Rickey Henderson, I wanted a PSA 8 in the Rickey Henderson. I wanted this card in a 7. I knew I couldn't afford an 8, but I didn't want to drop down to a 6. Anyway, I found this card. I got a good deal, paired it with another card, and it's the 1975 Topps George Brett rookie card. Now, it is off-center left to right, but what sold me on it was you don't see any of the fisheyes, which is somewhat prominent in the 75s, and just look how bright that green and purple, even the pink for the Royals. The registry on it is really, really nice. Nice bright colors. And so in this case, I was willing to sacrifice a little bit on the centering just because still it has great overall eye appeal based on no print marks and just those bold colors. So really love this George Brett rookie. And the back is fairly nice as well. There is a little bit of a mark down there. So again, this may have been an 8 MK for a mark. I don't know, but it is a PSA 7, and in a PSA 7, the current average price is $263. All right, card number 20. This one I picked up 2 or 3 years ago at the National, and what started my Carl Yastrzemski run. It says 1960 Topps rookie card. Picked this up in a PSA 5. What interests me in this card is you see a lot of these Carl Yastrzemski rookies right down near Carl Yastrzemski, or even through the center of the card, you see some ink roll marks. There's a little bit there up to the left of the 1960 rookie star, but not bad. Fairly well centered, which is what I was looking for. So very pleased to pick up this PSA 5 copy, and really nice back as well. Little maybe diamond centering on the back, but not bad. Not bad at all. So the PSA 5 value on this averages $269. All right, on to number 19. This is another Atlantic City National pickup. Was not on my list of cards to look for, but I'm sure you've experienced this. You go to a card show or whatever, or even an eBay listing, and you see a card and it just grabs your attention. This one definitely did it for me. And again, coming in at number 19, is the 1950 Bowman Bob Feller. I saw that PSA 5. I saw the price. Was able to work out a deal to where what I paid I thought was reasonable based on where comps were, and I am so glad I added this to my collection. I know I rave about my 1950 Bowman Yogi Berra, but this is right up there. Just so many things about this 50 Bowman Feller card that I just love. PSA 5, and there is the back. Nice clean back as well. Absolutely love this Bob Feller card. And currently, the average price in a PSA 5 is $273. All right, on to card number 18. Card number 18, this one was, I don't think I picked up at the same national as the Corey Yastrzemski rookie card, but this one is actually worth more than his rookie card, and it's the 1971 Topps Corey Yastrzemski, but this one I splurged a little bit. Got this one in a PSA 8. I just love the image of Corey Yastrzemski, and again, 71s are so hard to find in high grade. If you look down at the bottom right corner, you see just a hint of that black border just chipped away slightly, or this one could be a PSA 9. The dealer I bought this off of had a PSA 7, which first caught my attention, and then I saw the PSA 8. And while I think I got a good deal on this 8 and probably would have on the PSA 7, the PSA 7 was just a little off-center to my liking. And once I saw the 8 and just how gorgeous this card was, I splurged a little bit and spent more than I thought I was going to spend on a 71 Topps Corey Yastrzemski, but well worth it. And there is the back. Just take a look at that back. Love it. All right, and in a PSA 8, again, these are so hard to find in a higher grade, but still, given some of the decreases in some of the card prices, in a PSA 8, the average price is $283. All right, number 17, another national pickup. The 1956 Topps Hank Aaron with the gray back in a PSA 3. The card definitely has some corner issues and a little bit at the top center there on the border. There's a little bit of a crimping, but what got me was the centering. Really nice centering and hardly any snow on the image. And the image itself, the main image of Hank Aaron, is really nice and crisp. So again, was willing to sacrifice, one, budget for the 56 Topps here. Once you get into 4s, 5s, and even above, mostly out of my price range. So very, very happy with this PSA 3. And there is the back. There's a little bit of staining up near the card number there in the top left. But again, with some of these cards and the prices, when you drop down, say, to a PSA 3, you have to give somewhere. And I'm willing to give on the back, on the fronts of some of the cards. I'm willing to have some of the, corner wear, maybe even some of the edge wear. But as long as that image is fairly centered and a crisp image, I am fine with that. So in this PSA 3, this Hank Aaron is currently going for $284. All right, number 16. This one I picked up this year at the Pittsburgh show, just outside of Pittsburgh. Had a great time there with some fellow YouTubers. And it's the 1949 Bowman Worn Spawn in a PSA 5. Now, at first, I was a little hesitant to buy this. The dealer gave me a really good deal, given where PSA 5s normally sell for. And initially, that background there, the little bit of, staining, put me off a little bit, but you know what? The card has grown on me, definitely. Overall, it's a great image. And, with some of these older cards, especially early post-war, I guess you could call it, I don't need a perfect card. I mean, there's something to say about these vintage cards having some, love to them, well worn. I would say maybe not well worn, but some wear to them. At least for me and my budget, not looking for high end copies of these vintage cards. So I think this card, that little stain there, gives the card some character, and the registration on it, some of the 49s, Bowmans, when they do the colorizing there of the black and white image, sometimes they're off. The printing of it just gets a little bit off, but this was pretty spot on, and it has a nice back as well. So given the price for it, and it's a Warren Spawn, love the image of it, I decided to buy it, and I'm happy with that. This 49 Bowman in a PSA 5, the average price is $285. All right, moving along, we're now down to the last 15. Number 15 is a card that I have had in my collection for several decades, maybe 30 years. Finally had it at the time. I had a whole bunch graded, sent them into, again, BVG, big mistake. But anyway, had this for a long time, knew it wasn't going to grade high, but I like the centering of it overall, and it's my 1965 Topps Mickey Mantle. Got a BVG 3. You can see there the top right corner is dinged, and the bottom corners, you have a little bit of those ink marks down there. I mean, overall, I think it's a fairly crease-free card. Again, it's not perfect, but overall, nice image there of the 65 Topps Mickey Mantle. Knew it was going to be a 3. Overall centering, not bad. So this would definitely be one that I could see crossing over to PSA. Even if it gets a 2, it doesn't matter. I like the overall eye appeal of this Mickey Mantle. And there is the back. Obviously, you can see that corner wear there all around. But in a BVG 3, the current average price is $290. Right here, number 14, another Mickey Mantle. This is one that I bought somewhat recently, over the last maybe 5-6 years or so, from my local card shop, and sent it in for grading. It's my 1967 Topps Mickey Mantle. Now this one, again, I noticed how well centered it was. There are some issues on the corners, of course, but overall, nice image there, clean image. Again, fairly well centered, and I think I estimated that this was going to be a 5, and that's what it came in at. Here is the back. Again, overall, clean back to that. In a BVG 5, the current average price is $310. Right, moving on to number 13. This was another Atlantic City. I did very well in Atlantic City National this year. Had a pretty good budget to work with for me, and I think I spent my money very well. And this is the 1953 Bowman Color Pee Wee Reese. I think this is the one I paired up with the George Brett. Same dealer had these two. Again, this is one that I was not searching for. I just happened to see it, thought I could pair it with the Brett to get a good combination deal. It is off center. The corners do have some issues, but the main image of Pee Wee Reese there, and the card itself, I'm pretty sure is crease free. Just amazing. It's basically the centering on the corners. So with that, really happy to pick up this iconic vintage card. And there is the back. Really, really nice. And again, this is one that, based on current prices, for me to add this to my collection without having to save up quite a bit. A 2 was in my price range. You get to 3 or 4s just right now. I could afford the 2, so I went ahead and did that. And right now, the average PSA 2 price is $340. Number 12. This was an impulse buy at, I think, I don't know if it was the 2015 or 2019 National. I wanted to get a T206 card. Didn't have any player in mind. Didn't really know what I wanted to. I found some examples. I preferred to get a Hall of Famer. And came across this, and of course the show was in Chicago. So I went with this Mordecai Three-Finger Brown in the Chicago shirt. I thought that was a perfect pickup for a Chicago National. And as I've shown this off before, looking at the front, that's probably the nicest PSA 1 you'll ever see. The centering, the colors, everything about it. I'm like, how is that a 1? And of course, the dealer turned it over and showed me the paper loss on the back. But honestly, you miss a little bit there of the W and the E for sweet. But my goodness, I don't display the card like that. I display the card like that, and that is gorgeous. T206 there of Mordecai Three-Finger Brown. And even in this PSA 1, the average price is $342. And that's more than what I paid for it back in either 2015 or 2019. So very, very pleased with that, and especially the eye appeal of the front of that card. All right, almost at the top 10, number 11. One that I picked up ungraded from my local card shop some time ago and eventually had graded. It's the 1965 Topps World Series, but it's Mickey Mantle's clutch home run. And just the brightness of the border there, the centering, this got a BVG 8. Now, we're going to cross over to a PSA 8, maybe not, but overall, that is a sharp-looking card there. And here is the back showing off the game number 3 of the World Series. Centering on that back is really nice as well. So Mantle's clutch home run. And a BVG 8 is the average price right now is $350. All right, now for the top 10. Coming in at number 10. At first, I'm going to say at first, for the longest time, I didn't quite like this particular set. Now that I had this one card and I've looked closer at some of the others, I've gained an appreciation for this set. And it's the 1955 Bowman set. And the particular card is the Hank Aaron. Got this in a PSA 4. Again, just fell in love with the centering. I know it got a 4 because of the corners. That's fine. Nice, clean, crisp image there of Hank Aaron. I don't know. Hank Aaron made me love the 55 Bowman set. I haven't picked up any others yet, but I would definitely be interested and able and willing, and of course it's just money, right? To pick up more 55 Bowmans. And here is the back. Really, really nice. So happy that I got this at one of the Nationals. And in a PSA 4, this is currently selling for $352. I can get that on. Yeah, I think I can fit them all there. All right. Number 9. Another local card pickup, ungraded, that I later had graded by BVG. The 1967 Topps Willie Mays. And when I thought the 67 Mantle was well centered, this one I think is centered even a little bit nicer. It does have a little bit of the corner wear, but wow, look at that. That's one sharp card right there. And the back is nice as well. There's a little bit of maybe, it looks like some fading of that green, and it does have some off centering on the back, but still got a BVG 7.5. Probably would not equate to the same in PSA, but in a BVG 7.5, the average price right now is $382. Number 8. Another one from my local card shop. The 1965 Topps Hank Aaron, and this got a BVG 7. A little bit of diamond centering, but overall, clean card there. Overall, well centered. Just, I really like this image of Hank Aaron. And there's the back, a little bit faded compared to some of my other 65s. But overall, a nice example. Again, probably would not cross over to a PSA 7, but that's okay. In the BVG 7, the average price right now is $384. All right, card number 7 is one, again, that I've had in my collection for some time. I did a video fairly early on YouTube on the cards that I regretted selling. For whatever reason, I had a bunch of cards. Now, that time, I submitted them to PSA. And I regretted every one that I have sold. But for some reason, and I don't think it was because I priced it too high, because my interest really was to sell it. And so I thought I put a fair price in. It didn't sell. And I think it was because it was meant to be in my collection. It is off-centered a little bit, but it's my 1957 Topps Frank Robinson rookie card. So really happy to still have this one, that I didn't sell it, because it would definitely be among that list of ones that I would have regretted. So the current, well, let me show off the back here. Again, the centering isn't perfect, but overall, it's a nice example of his 57 rookie. And currently, the average PSA price is $424. Worth a lot more than what I would have gotten for it about 15 years ago. So, again, it's not about the money. I'm just happy that I still have that card in my collection. All right, number 6. Just absolutely love this card. Again, local card shop pickup. My local card shop has over the years had some great vintage. He doesn't really do a lot of graded cards, so they were raw, and I had it submitted to BVG. My 1952 Bowman Stan Musial, and this one got a BVG 6. Just absolutely love the centering on that. The colors. Just a great card of Stan Musial. And there is the back. I love the 52 Bowman set. Well, I should say 50 through 52, and even the 53s, and to some extent the 54s and 55s. So those Bowman sets, I don't know. I've gained a lot of appreciation and love for those Bowman sets. Now, this one here, when I looked a BVG 6 up in vintage card prices, not too many BVG 6s have sold recently. The last one sold, I think it was a buy it now for $999. I did not use that price, and the reason being is the $999 for the BVG 6 was higher than, I think, a BVG 7 or 8. It was just some outlier. So I didn't give it that value. So I looked at the previous sale, and that went for $598. But again, that was, I think, maybe in 2020. So I'm not really sure what a BVG 6 of this card is, because there haven't been that many that have sold in the last few years. But again, I assigned it a value of $598. All right, we are down to my top 5. And I don't care that much about the value of the cards. I just like the cards, but I am fortunate that my top 5 are all comma cards. So the first on the list, coming in at number 5, one of my all-time favorites is my 1954 Topps Ted Williams number 250. This is an old BVG slab, but it did get a 7. Left to right centering is almost spot on. You do have that one print mark there right on his cap. Top to bottom, I think a little bit off, as you can tell. But overall, just a nice, clean copy. Just love that Ted Williams. That yellow background against the blue hat. Just, oh, I love this card. Now, the back is definitely off-center. You can maybe make a little bit of the border. I mean, 90-10 may be generous. It's probably 95-5. But nonetheless, really love that Ted Williams card. And the average BVG 7 price is $1,200. We'll put that one right there. Coming in at number 4. I think I made out very well with this. I bought this card ungraded from, again, my local card shop. And I had a feeling that was going to grade pretty high. And for the price, I thought it was reasonable. Ungraded, sent it in, and was very pleasantly surprised. Again, this may not get the same grade in a PSA. And again, I'm fine with that. But it's my 1963 Topps Mickey Mantle. There's a little bit, again, the bottom corners there, you see a little bit of wear with the green, but other than that, really sharp. Got a BVG 7.5. And there is the back. Really nice. And this BVG 7.5 is the average price is $1,272. But that is not my most valuable Mickey Mantle card. And you'll see her coming up. But before we get to that, card number 3. This was one that I always wanted in my collection one day. Was happy to get it at the, I want to say the 2015 National. My T206. Christy Mathewson. This is in an SGC, one of my few SGC cards. It's in an SGC 3. Overall, good centering. You know, the corners there definitely rounded. You get a little bit of a crease in that bottom left-hand corner. But the image itself of Christy Mathewson is really nice. Sweet cap roll back. Matches my Mordecai 3-finger brown. And I believe in vintage card prices, these T206s, I think I selected the correct back to it. Obviously, with T206s, there were multiple backs. I think I selected the correct back because they didn't have a specific sweet cap roll. I think it was Piedmont and sweet cap roll. My mind thinking that either one of those backs are around the same price. But in an SGC 3, this card is currently selling for around $1,487. Love that Mathewson. All right, the top 2. If you've been watching my videos over these last 2 years, you will know, or actually, last 2 years. Number 2 is my 1953 Topps Mickey Mantle. This is another local card shop purchase, ungraded. I knew the card was going to have some issues. It is off center, left to right, and If you look really closely, there's some, it almost looks like just little marks, indentations down their outfielder and his name. But overall, it is just it's a nice, clean image of that 53 Topps Mickey Mantle. And the back is fairly well centered, believe it or not. So it's, again, the left to right is what gets it. Same on the front here. But overall, just love this card. And even in a 2.5, the average selling price of this one in a BVG is $2,406. And lastly, my number one vintage baseball card in terms of value is my 1952 Bowman Mickey Mantle. Again, one I picked up at my local card shop, ungraded, submitted it to BVG. Loved the centering. Now, if you notice, there is, and I've seen this on other copies of the 52 Bowman Mantle, right under his chin, there's a little bit of a print line there. But again, when you look at it like that, you know, it's somewhat hard to see. And it's just, I love this image of Mickey Mantle. The back does have some wax stain, so it does take away from some of it, but otherwise clean. Absolutely love this 52 Bowman Mickey Mantle. And actually, I did watch Mike Baseball Collector's Top 50. His number one was his 1951 Bowman Mickey Mantle. And I think his is in a 5. So he had a 51 Bowman in a 5. I have a 52 Bowman in a 4.5. Of course, his is PSA and mine is BVG. But anyway, there we are, my number one most valuable vintage baseball card in my collection as of 2022. All right, now I said I had 2 bonus cards that I wanted to show off. I don't have many other non-baseball cards in my collection, and I only have one that I have graded. And this one here, I actually had 2 at one point, but both of them now, the one that I have, actually I know for a fact was pack pulled back in 1981. I bought a fair number of football cards in 1981, 82, a little bit into 83, and happened to have this Joe Montana rookie card. And I had 2 of them graded. I kept the highest graded one, the 7.5. And I think the other one came in at a 7, so they were really, really close. And this one had, you know, some nice centering on it as well. But this is one I pulled from a pack, had in a shoebox, you know, didn't necessarily keep worrying about keeping them in the best condition. And for it to still come in at a, this is a Beckett, not a Beckett Vintage, but a BGS 7.5. The surface is what really killed it, which is surprising. I'm not sure what they saw there on the surface, maybe some snowing there. But here is the back. And so, yeah, my one graded football card is of one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, my Joe Montana rookie card. And in terms of modern cards, I don't have a lot of modern cards in my collection other than Wade Boggs, of course. And this is one where, and I don't do a lot of speculating or investing, but this is one, and I want to say I bought this in, oh shoot, I should have looked it up. It was either 2015 or 2017. And I paid $120 for it. And that was the going price for it, and I decided to get the refractor version, figuring that again in terms of the base and the refractor may hold its value a little bit more than the base. And I'm glad first the Joe Montana. Sorry, I forgot to tell you what the current selling price for that 7.5 is. $173 on the Joe Montana. All right, back to this mystery card of the modern card, and it is a rookie card of Mike Trout. And no, it's not the Topps Traded. It's the 2011 Bowman Chrome Refractor in a Beckett 9.5. I wanted this card versus I think it was the Bowman Chrome Prospect. I wanted him in an Angels uniform. So I went with this one. This was an eBay purchase. Not too bad for, I think it was $120 or $125. The current average price of this BGS 9.5 is $2,073. So I think I did pretty well there. So again, in terms of my overall collection, this is another comma card. But again, my main focus here with this two-part video series was my top 50 vintage baseball cards. And if you've been keeping track of all the prices I've thrown around, the top 50 vintage cards, the total value adds up to $20,025. So we'll see how my top 50 looks next year, which ones are in the top 50, how they rank. I'm sure, hopefully, I will be adding new cards to that top 50, and we'll see where the overall value is. Again, for me, I don't care if these cards are worth $20,000, $25,000, $5,000. I just love having these cards in my collection. So there you go. Just like in my previous video, would love to know in the comments which one of these top 25 are some of your favorites. With that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.